What is going on, XRP Army? It is Ahmed, and I am back today with yet another video for you on. Guys, we need to make sure we highlight what's happening with XRP token as it is outpacing the top 10 cryptocurrencies in the market. Now, remember, as always, never financial advice, just trying to put you guys on the plays that I'm in. If you're new around here, smash the like button down below and also consider subscribing. Now, XRP sitting at $2.19, up 3.85% on the day. Look at this. $6.3 billion exchanging the hands of traders on chain via XRP token. $6.3 billion, guys, amidst a very sideways market overall. If you see what exchanges are doing in terms of volume, significant volume coming in from Binance, Coinbase, Upbit, even Bybit, all the way down to OKX are showing some significant numbers across the board. If we look at my personal XRP positions, currently sitting at $2.19 over at iTrust Capital. Valued is currently right around 53.93 XRP tokens being held, up 3.74%, $427, down about $4,800 since I did my transfer. Again, it's been many months over. But XRP overall, if we look at the 1 year chart, we can kind of consider it sitting at support right now, right around $2.20 per XRP coin. But let's talk about what's going on with ETFs and why I'm so bullish. But remember, as always, there's a link down below for iTrust Capital, $100 for free when you sign up for a premium custody account or an individual retirement account with iTrust Capital. Let's take it over to breaking news coming in from Coin Bureau. XRP just beat Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana in ETF inflows. Let me repeat that one more time. XRP just beat and outpaced Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana in ETF inflows from the institutional level. This is extremely bullish, showing that there's significant demand for XRP coin. Bitcoin's aggregate over the last day has been right around negative $151 million of outflows, not inflows. Ethereum almost $100 million of inflows. Solana $58 million, but XRP, guys, outpacing all of them with $164 million of money coming in to XRP coin over the last day with ETF inflows. Grayscale's and Franklin Templeton ETFs are the ones, and the new XRP ETFs alone pulled in $67.4 million and $62.6 million on their debut. So when you're looking at analyst expectations as well as market expectations for XRP ETF, just demand overall, what did we say? This is the most intriguing cryptocurrency amongst the top 10 cryptos that are being offered right now in the cryptocurrency market. Because remember, you got to think from the individual perspective. From the top 10 here, which of these cryptocurrencies are building the most infrastructure, are building the most and strongest use case? Bitcoin, store of value, Ethereum, big blockchain, and Solana, sure, a fast blockchain, but XRP, cross-border payments, teaming up and partnering with big banks, big credit card issuers, big exchanges, just building throughout the market, regardless of the market conditions. And just seeing what the demand looks like, both from retail and institutional investors alike, it does show the potential that XRP has going in through the end of the year. And we also need to talk about what to expect now for the federal funds rate and the Feds, what they're going to be doing in the month of December, as it is right around the corner. Because I think right now, November 2025, you need to make sure you establish a position in cryptocurrencies that you have conviction in, like XRP. I think this is the time that I need people to realize, if you are to establish a position and you're looking to get in at a cheap price or reasonable price, it is going to be right around now. So let's look what's going on with XRP news today. Franklin Templeton launches XRPZ ETF and as XRP demand climbs. Let's zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. Franklin Templeton has launched its long-awaited XRP exchange-traded fund on the New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, creating a regulated entry point for U.S. investors seeking exposure to XRP token. The debut adds another major issuer to a growing list of firms building crypto-focused investment products. Demand for regulated digital assets continues to rise as institutions widen their interests in blockchain-linked assets after recent legal clarity. No longer an issue. That was the biggest cloud looming over the XRP ecosystem. Institutional issuers enter the XRP market. Franklin Templeton enters XRP ETF sector beside Bitwise, Grayscale, Canary Capital, and Rex Shares and Rex Osprey, right? Each issuer works to meet with rising interest from professional investors who want to simple and regulated exposure to digital assets, because a lot of people don't want to take the time like we do to enter into the blockchain, understand the technology, visit exchanges, make their accounts, do all the steps. Portfolio managers now gain a broader set of options through Franklin Templeton, expanding their ETF lineup. And remember, institutional grade investors and hedge funds mainly want to look for things like ETFs because it gives them protection from custodial issues, right? When you have self-custody, the custodians, typically speaking, are a little bit more risky when you're looking at self custody, because if you lose your keys, remember, not your keys, not your crypto, boom, all your cryptocurrency is now gone. If your phone gets hacked, all your crypto is now gone. And that's why personally, you guys know I've been preaching on this channel time and time again to utilize things like iTrust Capital, link down below. They give you closed loop system and protection from losing your keys, losing your crypto, and having the ability to utilize 2FA, facial identity, all the different things you can do to protect yourself from losing your cryptocurrency. But why does this all matter? Why is it that institutions, ETFs, all of this matters? Because as demand rises for ETFs, how do ETFs make their exchange traded funds available to investors? They have to buy XRP from the open market, add it to their balance sheets, then issue it and basically wrap it around this exchange traded fund to then issue to their investors. So when demand increases from the ETF side, the liquidity of XRP tokens that are afloat on exchanges, on decentralized finance exchanges as well, DeFi and CeFi, they clear that up over time. So when you take away the liquidity, you're removing that slowly from circulation. It also creates supply shock. And over time, when you have supply shock, then what occurs? Supply demand curves, basic economics, price goes up. And that's what happens time and time again during a very greedy market. Right now, the fear and greed index tells us we're not in a greedy market whatsoever. We're in extreme fear right now. A sentiment is the worst it's been over the last pretty much 2 years. The last time we saw this kind of sentiment, just not even as poor as this, but close, is back in March of 2025 with Liberation Day and Donald Trump's tariffs going live in front of everyone's face. The other thing that's been looming is the fact that the federal funds rate and rate cuts in December started having a reduction of percentages. But after PPI came out today and yesterday's sentiment shift from the federal funds rate issuers and the Feds themselves, guess what? If we go over to Market Watch, we could see that 82.7% chance for a December 10th Fed rate cut to 350 to 375 basis points, or 3.5 to 3.75%. And of course, there's only a 17% chance for keeping it at 3.75 to 4% for the Fed fund rate. So if we have continued quantitative easing as expected, and we also have federal funds rate being reduced, and we see a reduction in interest rates, that creates more of a risk appetite based market, and we can continue to hopefully rally as expected and resume the full-fledged bull run. Because remember, the market is always forward looking. I'm repeating that one more time. Remember that the market is always forward looking. So when they say buy the rumor, sell the news, right now you're buying the rumor with this increased chance for rate cuts. And when the time comes, we might see the day of December 10th, a little bit of a sell-off in the market, followed by another rally, because people do come to the realization that this is the best time to still buy into the market. So with that being said, I think you have between now and December 10th, maybe December 11th, to double down on positions prior to the resumption or the resuming of the bull run. So again, I do appreciate your guys' support as always. If you're still around towards the end of the video, remember, iTrust Capital is giving you $100 free, $100. You can do whatever you want with it. Buy XRP, buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, whatever you'd like. But I would consider looking into them. They're pretty awesome. Again, I've been utilizing now since basically the beginning of the summer, and I will hope to continue using them for the years to come. I appreciate your support. And until next time, everybody, before I leave, one last thing. Remember. What we need to always pay attention to are things like the news, because these are the immediate catalysts that we look forward to. Congressman Warren Davidson says the U.S. can fund Bitcoin reserves by accepting taxes in Bitcoin. Russia is expanding their options for crypto-linked assets. Right now, the war in Ukraine is the peace deal is at 67% via the betting markets like Polymarket. And you can see that here with everything else happening, and the federal governor, Stephen Moran, says the US economy calls for large interest rate cuts. So with that being said, we're seeing a complete shift in sentiment. So again, I'm going to reiterate and re-emphasize, it is the time to be bullish while everybody else is being scared, because we got to think the way Warren Buffett thinks. When the market is fearful, that is the time to be greedy and double down on your positions. So until next time, as always, keep investing. Peace.